He's freshened up. We omitted him last week and didn't play him in the reserves. Just a young bloke coming in for his first seniors, halfway through the year. He's played 5 or 6, I think. So, yeah, he hasn't done his chances any harm by a pretty solid performance. I don't think it was. He's another option, and what's his tackle count? 4 entrances, clearances 4. It's a handy night. Oh, I'm never happy, you know that. No, the extent of the margin is not an interest. As long as it says W next to your name that you've won it. It's the methodology and it's the opportunity for players who have come into the side to show their wares. It's a chance for players that are fighting for a spot to declare that they understand the systems and they understand the role they're supposed to play and they perform to that role. It's not measured on necessarily the number of actual kicks and hand passes. It's measured on other KPIs that we have defined, and that's the most important thing, is that they and the boys do. They all understand that there's certain criteria that gives them a game, and there's certain marking points that the team has to be judged on, and early on Monday or Tuesday we'll get those together and work out whether we've had a reasonable win. That's whether we've had, structurally, we've already mentioned about the stoppages, were we right, were we wrong? One would suspect that the clearance rate was lopsided, particularly the centre bounces, so that we would look at that. What I think of his game, I thought that he played like a VFL player coming up to play AFL football. I've said it all year, he typifies the level of skill, which is not necessarily greater than VFL, but the level of intensity is massive, and if you're out of it for too long, and that's my fault, he's probably been out of it for too long, now he'll need time to reacquaint himself with that sort of intensity. So Paul understands that. Who else come in? Blair, well, he was in a couple of weeks ago. Tarkin, well, he only missed a couple. I think he's only missed a couple. And Nathan Brown, I think he might have been back for a few too. So the longer you're down there, it gets harder. And, with any sort of luck, Josh down the track might get, hopefully we'll get him his 200th. And the danger of that is that he's been back there for a long time. But we'd like to bank on experience, and that's what Paul had to drag out today. For the intensity level was down in the previous few weeks, not his, but that's the level that it is. You only play at that level, but he had to quickly go back to what am I required to do, and I've been doing it now for 8 to 10 years. In Josh's case, it's 11 years. So therefore, it's so important to get him up there very quickly. I reckon kids are the ones that if you're not playing them regularly, I don't know whether they can actually go into a final series without games, because the intensity is just enormous now compared to what it was 3 years ago, 2 years ago.